talking about someone that sells a fight, Dereck Chisora.
Oh, there's no one better to sell a fight.
There's no one
He
better.
is going to have that co-op arena looking packed.
Dude,
He
is just sensational. I mean, there isn't a British Boxing Hall of Fame, which I think is a disgrace that they don't have it.
Actually.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? They don't have a British Boxing Hall of Fame.
How many great fighters have been here? Loads, hundreds.
Crazy, right? I mean, every British great has to try and get into the Hall of Fame, and not many get into the Hall of Fame. So there should be a British boxing one. If there is, and if there was, Chisora would be a first ballot British Boxing Hall of Fame.
No questions asked.
What a career. Like, this is fight number 49, and you go down his career, and Fury's on there. I mean, you can go way back. Sam Sexton, Danny Williams. Those are for the British kind of level fights. And then he moves on to the big ones. Vitaly Klitschko. Helenius, when Helenius was unbeaten European champion. Kubrat Pulev's on there.
Dylan White.
Agit Kabayel's on there. Dillian White's on there.
Carlos Takam.
Yeah. Alexander Usyk. Joseph Parker. Malik Scott. It's literally ridiculous, the amount of names this guy's fought. And I know some people will say, yeah, but he's lost them all. And he has lost a lot. He's lost 13. But the way he's reinvented himself from this Del Boy Chisora to War Chisora, now he's almost this jolly rogue Chisora. I think he's been fantastic.
I remember when AJ fought Dylan White, and that's nearly 10 years ago. Right? You had people saying then, oh, AJ Chisora, oh, it's a mismatch, Chisora's done. That's 10 years ago. And he's still main eventing and filling out the co-op 10 years later after people thought he was well and truly done. That is insanity.
It's true, you know. Every time you think, he's like a cat with the 9 lives thing.
More than 9 lives.
More than every time you think he's quite done. Like even this Joe Joyce one, I was like, I don't want to see it.
Yeah,
Joe's gonna hurt him. Joe's too big, and he just knocked him down and won the. Like even when he knocked Joe down, I was like, what? How did you do this? And you know, it's funny because even the Usyk fights, I don't never necessarily believe this narrative. Everyone's like, he gave Usyk the toughest fight. Like when you line up and watch Usyk versus AJ and Usyk versus Fury, everyone's like, Chisora gave him the toughest one. I don't know if that's true, but that's what people say. I think he's been a fantastic servant for British boxing. I mean, you even have to go back to that Dusseldorf incident with David Haye.
Man,
how fantastic was that? And
then we still talk about that.
They fought with the cage in front of them, remember, for the face-off?
Yeah.
Upton Park.
There's another name we forget. Like, it's like we actually forget so many good names. Like, we go and list them off and then we're like, oh yeah. And it's not like just a simple forget. It's like David Haye, Joe Joyce. This man has been honestly, he's been in there with everyone, and he's in there on Saturday against Otto Wallin. Last fight in the UK.
Yeah, I wish him the biggest amount of luck. I think this is a tougher fight than maybe people are thinking.
I do too.
Otto Wallin's a spoiler. He's a southpaw. He's pretty big as well. I think he's about 6'5", 6'6". He's a big guy. He had a fight after AJ. He knocked the guy out in a round. So hopefully, well, not hopefully because I want him to lose, but hopefully for Otto Wallin fans, the cobwebs are off.
How damaged,
easy, you know?
He took a lot of shots against AJ.
He did.
He really, I mean, in 5 rounds, I know he didn't go down, but in 5 rounds, he took more punishment than a lot of fighters would do in 10, 12 rounds.
I don't know, you know. I mean, he's fighting someone that's taken a lot of punishment as well. I mean, I know Dereck Chisora beat Joe Joyce, but he took some punishment in that fight as well. The thing about Chisora, he looks knackered from the first minute. Like the first minute, his face has got Vaseline all over it. He looks like all of a sudden, he doesn't click into another gear. He clicks into like several other gears, and he will make you work for your money.
Oh man!
So I don't know if Otto's got that big punch in order to really end it all. If he hasn't, it's going to be a tough 12 rounds for Otto.
I don't think he has that big punch. And whenever he's fought pressure fighters, he's fought pressure fighters with 2 left feet. Chisora will be on you like a bad smell. Like that.
Yeah.
And we've seen fighters, we've seen southpaws. Remember when he fought a similar style, but he's not as tall. Remember when he fought Spilka?
Yep.
And he absolutely, he
that
knocked
right
him into another world.
Walloped Spilka. Walloped him. I think Spilka went down to cruiserweight and then went into MMA.
Yeah, man, he's done some weird things on that. But Wilder took him 9 rounds and took Chisora. Boom, see you later.
Yeah. Do you think Chisora wins?
I do.
Okay.
I think he wins.
Okay, let's move on from that then. If he does win, fight number 50, which is supposed to be his last fight. I still have reservations about this, by the way. I really do. Because if Chisora wins against Otto Wallin and he's fantastic, and then he wins number 50, is he really going to call it quits? I don't know. Who is number 50?
Who is number 50?
He wants to fight in Africa. This is what Chisora said. Hence why it's called The Last Dance for people that might not understand the name. The Last Dance is in the last fight over here in the UK. Who does he fight in Africa?
There's really only 2 names, and one of them is a trilogy fight with Dylan White, and the other is a massive fight in Africa with Francis Ngannou.
That's it, isn't it?
That's literally it. And Riyadh
Wilder not a third one? No.
Do you know what? If I used to always think how dangerous that would be for Chisora's health.
Same.
I'd pick him now. I would genuinely look at how I'm like. Do you know what? Wilder would absolutely fall apart against Chisora at this point now. He'd never let that right hand go, and Chisora would just pick him apart. I think.
Okay, what's the bigger fight? Okay, them's three. Rank them in terms of order of size. What's the biggest one? I think Ngannou for me, but you.
No, I agree. I would go Wilder lowest. Imagine saying that in 20. Wilder lowest.
Crazy.
Dylan White, the history, the trilogy, everything, and then Ngannou.
Yeah, just because Ngannou is that African boxer, isn't it? I know.
And this is a fight that you would look at, you'd say like, mate, he fought Fury and Joshua back to back in his first 2 pro fights.
Yeah.
No one does that. This is one of the fights you'd look at and you think maybe he can.
He would hate Chisora's style.
Oh, it would be awful.
I don't think you have to kind of be a supreme boxer in order to maneuver around Chisora swarming. You have to know what to do. You have to kind of know how to step back and land those shots. Someone on you like the way Chisora will be on your chest. If you don't have boxing ability, but then again, Ngannou's so strong, you might have to throw him off.
I was going to say, but Chisora is a strong guy as well. I mean, I've never seen Usyk look as kind of shell-shocked with the strength of someone as he did in those first couple of rounds. And how would Ngannou? Ngannou's used to being able to manhandle these guys. Chisora, he might be short, but he is a strong guy.
Yeah, good luck to Chisora. It's a shame we didn't get Zach Parker, Willie Hutchinson.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It's a big week
as well.
Massive. I know that's so. Like if you're Zach Parker and you've done the 8-9 week camp, and then a week out you hear that. I don't know if Zach's still on.
He's not. I was checking it last night. Surely they could have got someone in on short notice. Just a little run around.
Yeah, that's gutting because I said the other day on one of my videos that I think Zach is still rebuilding after the John Ryder defeat.
Yeah, he is.
And what I meant by that is because I know he's had a couple of wins since then, but John was a big fight.
Yeah.
And he needs another big fight, and Willie's a big fight now. Hutchinson versus Zach's a big fight. Zach now obviously is a light heavyweight. It's a shame. And Willie's got momentum behind him as well.
Man, he gave a good account of himself against Buatsi. He beat Craig Richards. This is a fight. This will put him back on the stage at Riyadh, or at the very least the ring shows.
Yeah. I wonder if he's got the same motivation for a Zach Parker. No, this is not disrespecting Zach here, but like Craig Richards was a massive fight, 5-on-5.
Underdog.
Enormous.
Underdog as well.
Yeah, underdog in that fight as well, as you say. Joshua Buatsi, underdog, Wembley Stadium, enormous show. Zach Parker, HAYE Arena.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Co-main event on it.
I was wondering if it's like, I feel a nigga, I'm not doing this.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
I don't think so, because surely you would think that, like, all right, I get this fight out of the way and it's another big payday Riyadh season or something. Surely you'd only pull out if you desperately had to. You couldn't.
Yeah, maybe.
But I was so upset because I was looking forward to that fight so much as well. It was a great fight.
A really good co-main, and it's a shame now because the card loses something.
That does.
It loses quite a lot for me. David HAYE, the Haymaker.
We can't mention Chisora without mentioning HAYE.
It's just one. Yeah, it's right. I mean, they fought, and then HAYE managed him. Best friends sometimes, not best friends. Weird. But HAYE kind of teased the idea of a comeback. The way David HAYE can only tease. And everyone's now starting to talk about HAYE potentially wanting to come back. Obviously, Vladimir looks like he might come back and try and take on that George Foreman record as being the oldest heavyweight champion. David HAYE now. I don't know if David HAYE's selling us something, because David HAYE likes to sell stuff, or he's actually really talking about coming back.
I really hope he's selling something. He did say it'll have boxing fans sobbing. Man, I love David HAYE. Seeing him laid out, yeah, that'll have me sobbing. He's not wrong. Man, Tony Bellew, great achievement. But he ruptured his Achilles in the first fight. He looked a shell of himself in the second fight. That's what, 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
He's not going to get any better. He's not going to get better now.
100%. It can't get any better. And your body doesn't get stronger.
No.
You know, especially when you're older. I mean, if you rupture your Achilles when you're 20, okay, cool. In 7 years' time, it could fix. I'm sorry, David. I know you're a vegan and you eat the best food and live the best life. That Achilles will always go again.
And my guy was riddled with injuries before he fought Bellew.
Bicep,
shoulder, everything. God knows what else has happened. Big toe.
Yeah. Big toe indeed. So for you, David HAYE doesn't.
Please don't. I'm hoping that this is just David HAYE being David HAYE, you know, for dramatic fight, or something will come and now I'm the brand ambassador for such and such and such. Okay, thank God. Please, no return.